Hello, hello, my lovely stitchy friends. I'm Kat, and I'm delighted to welcome you to my channel, Catkin and Lily, where we talk all things cross-stitch. So today is FlossTube number 10, and it's the 15th of November. And it's feeling very autumnal here in the UK. My garden is absolutely littered with leaves. All the trees are dropping their leaves, and yeah, it looks an absolute mess out there. And it's been really grey today, although the sun is kind of coming out. I've got a window on this side of me and yeah, the light might change a little bit as we go through this video, but thank goodness for artificial lighting anyway, so hopefully it won't be too bad. Now, I have to be honest, it's been a bit of a roller coaster since I last chatted to you, which was 2 weeks ago. It's been highs and lows and everything in between, and probably a little bit of a mess in terms of stitching. Everything else is fine, life is fine. The stitching has just, well, it's not really gone to plan. But the good news is I have a finish, only a little one, but it's a finish. I have what should be a finish, but still isn't. You might know which one I'm talking about. And I actually have 3 FFOs to show you, including the most exciting FFO ever, I think. I've also got lots of Christmas stitching. It's going to get very Christmas heavy around here, I think, for, well, the next couple months. And I have no stash. Really, I promise I've not forgotten anything. I'm not going to magic something up from somewhere. There genuinely is no stash this time round. Pretty sure there will be next time. I might have ordered something, but nothing this time round. So let's start on a high with those FFOs that I mentioned, and the one I was so excited about. Of course, if you haven't guessed, it has to be my amazing Animal Kingdom that was artwork by Amy Stewart and charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, and it's back from the framers. It came just this weekend gone with my parents who came to visit. They brought it for me from the framers, and oh my goodness, well, it's a little bit big for me to bring it here to show you, so I'm going to put in a picture for you so you can see that. It's up on the wall. I found a fantastic, well, what I think is a fantastic spot for it. I'm so excited every time I see it. Absolutely love it. So the frame is a pewter effect frame, and my framer helped pick it out. He's absolutely brilliant with that kind of stuff. He just knows what will really work, and I absolutely love it. I think it really makes the design look great. Now, if you didn't already see it, I made a whole video about me stitching this particular design, so I will link that. I'll link that in a card and in the description for you if you want to go and check that out. Okay, so I said we have 3 FFOs, and the other 2 are also pieces that I had back from the framer, which is it's always super exciting, and I have got those ones here to show you, so let's take a look. So here's the first one, this, and it's going to be hard to show you these because obviously I'm going to get some glare on them, but I will try and do my best for you. This first one, this is Beach Hut Fun, which is a Bothy Threads. In fact, they're both Bothy Threads kits. This one is a Julia Rigby design, and this was a kit. Let's see if I can get in and show you a little bit of this. I stitched this about 3 or 4 years ago. So it's actually one that I stitched this probably when I came back to cross stitch about 5 or 6 years ago, and I think I stitched this a few years later maybe. I don't know, it might even be 5 years old, and I haven't had it framed until now, so obviously, yeah, this is really exciting to get that back. And I know I'm going to put this one, it's going to go in my downstairs toilet. I just think it's going to look really nice in there. So as I say, this one was a kit, so all done with the supplies in the kit. It's 14 count baby blue Zweigart Ada, so that does look lovely, doesn't it, on the blue? It's really pretty. I was, as always, drawn to this one because of the lovely bright fun colours, the really cute, kind of slightly whimsical design, which I definitely enjoy. And the second one, as I say, so this is another Bothy Threads kit. This one is a Rendale Designs. So this is He's a Fun Guy. I'm going to So you can see the cute little mouse on the mushroom. Absolutely gorgeous. So again, this one's a kit. So again, this one's been done all with the kit contents. It's on that lovely, you see the lovely Ada that they provide that's got the speckles on it. So those speckles just come on the fabric pre-printed. And yeah, it's really nice. Again, it's 14 count. It's not always my favourite 14 count. I do prefer 16, but these kits just look so nice. I will stitch on 14 count for them. Now this one, I need to work out where I'm going to put it, because if you saw my house tour FlossTube, which was maybe number 5, but if you look for the house tour, if you haven't seen it, then you'll see I've got a whole gallery wall of Rendale designs, but they're all square. This one, as you can see, is not square. This one's rectangular because it's a little bit smaller. So I had the rectangular frame, and actually it's got a wider frame on it than the others. So it wouldn't look right to put with all the others. So I need to find somewhere else special for this one because it's absolutely adorable and I love it. So lots of putting up of pictures to be done, which my lovely husband will be helping me with probably at the weekend. He already did some last weekend because obviously he put up the Heaven and Earth Designs one for me, and that meant taking down the little narwhal one that I had that was on there, so that one needs rehoming. I've got these 2 new ones to do, and he's already put a few up last weekend as well from, I had some really older pieces that hadn't ever been put up anywhere, so those have gone up. So yeah, we're having a little bit of a putting things up on the wall moment. I might even have to do another house tour at some point if it carries on like this. And before we move on to looking at some stitching in progress, have you spotted? New location? A sofa bed finally arrived, so here I am. I've managed to set up to film in here. Nothing too exciting in the backdrop yet. Hopefully I'll get some shelves and things to give a little bit more interest. Managed to put a few bits and pieces here for now, and very excitingly this box that stuff's sitting on, that if you saw in my earlier videos you might be able to tell, that's my advent calendar box from the Historical Sampler Company. So it's just sitting there tempting me. It's not going to be too long till I can get in on that, and of course I'll be sharing with you, so yeah, that's fun. But I think we'd better get on with some actual stitching to show you, and I've got quite a few whips to get through. There's a few less than I have had in previous videos, perhaps because I've dropped a few things just so I can work on some of the other things. Like I said, it's been a bit of a mess. I haven't really followed my plan, so yeah. Anyway, let's get into the whips. Okay, I'm keeping my whips again roughly in the same order as I usually show you, and as always there'll be informational panels up on the side to show you all the details of the project, and I'll show you where I was at last time on there for each project as well. So the first one is Christmas Friends, still Christmas Friends, and still not finished. Yeah, this is the one I thought I'd have finished and I haven't, and it's still those snowflakes. Anyway, I'll put up where I was last time, which I'd pretty much, I think I'd finished the blue but still doing lots of backstitch. So here we are with almost all the backstitch done. Basically everything. I've done the lovely Merry Christmas wording, which that was so nice to stitch. I don't know why. I loved doing that Merry Christmas wording. And the bit that is mugging me off slightly is the snowflakes. Now, where are they on here? I can show you. Okay, there's some over here. So let's see if I can show you those. I don't know whether you can see the snowflakes. It's very difficult to show you, but they're on here. There's a few snowflakes in here. So I was having problems with the snowflakes because all of those white snowflakes are 2 strands, and I found they were looking really bulky, particularly because some of the ones I was trying to show, they're really little, and I didn't really like the way they were looking. I tried 1 strand and yeah, you can't see it. I tried metallic, still wasn't loving it. They're just really bulky, whatever you stitch them in, and they kind of just look a bit of blobs. And even the bigger ones, I didn't love how they looked. They didn't look right if I did lots of short stitches. for the arms. It didn't look right if I did long stitches. So I'm still a bit stuck. I might leave them off altogether. If I can't find a good thing to do, then I might leave them off. If you've got any bright ideas, let me know, because I've kind of run out of ideas now. I would maybe put little sequins on instead, but I'm not sure my husband would love that. He'd probably let me do it, but because it's not his, but I don't love doing things that he's not going to enjoy, and he doesn't love like sequins and bits and pieces on things. So yeah, I might just leave it as is. It does look really nice, so maybe it's okay just to leave it as it is, because I really don't want this hanging over me. I want to get it washed, pressed into the hoop, all ready to display. So I just need to make a decision on it one way or the other, I think. And it needs to be finished next time that we chat. But anyway, moving on to the next whip, which is the Castle Homecoming Stitch Along from the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. And this one is super cute. I was a little bit behind last time we chatted, and I'm still quite behind because put the picture up, part 7 has come out, and it's the bit that you can see on the very right hand side of the picture with the tree, and there's a little troll. The little troll is fishing. It's so cute. Oh, it's lovely. But that tree looks like that's going to be quite a lot to stitch. And that's part 7 that's just come out. And I'm only about halfway through part 6. So I'll put up where I was, and then here's where we are now. So I have finished, at least I finished part 5. So it was almost done anyway, but it was the back stitch in this area just to finish up on the brickwork, and a few bits and pieces on here. So that was what I was finishing up. And then the part 6 that I've worked on is, I've done some of the green before, but I've done this little jousting pole. I've done green across here, and that's kind of where we're up to. So there's quite a lot. There's the whole rest of jousting scene up here and a tent, and then I've got all that big part on this side to get into. So there's quite a lot to do on there. Part 7 feels like it's quite a big part. And the other thing is with part 6, so like I said, there's this jousting scene at the top, and there's 2 little critters, and I don't know what they are. I think they might be mice. I don't know. But I'm not 100% sure about all the colours. There's like 2 little horses, and one's brown and the other one's kind of yellow, and I'm not sure about that, so I might tweak a few colours. So I just need to figure out what I'm doing with that one, but then I try and get on and stitch that, and then get on and stitch everything else. The next whip is my Chameleon, so my Bothy Threads Chameleon design. Again, super colourful, and I've had a couple of stitchy sessions on it. I moved it to my football project, so I got some really good progress on that, and then I've just kind of dropped it. I think this has been one of the ones that's lost out for trying to do some other Christmas stitching, but I've still done an okay amount. So here's where we are. And I've done this section down here, and I've also worked up here as well, sort of pulling that bit down. So yeah, there's some decent progress on it. So yeah, not bad progress, but for some reason I don't know, I hate to say fallen out of love with it. I haven't really, it just hasn't been pulling me to stitch it. So I think maybe it needs to take a little break while I have all these other things I want to stitch, because then I'm probably going to come back to it and just dive right into it and really enjoy it. So yeah, I think he maybe needs to go on a little bit of a timeout for the moment. I'm going to come back to him. I absolutely love the design. I think what it is it's so many little bits of lots of colour that it can be quite fiddly to stitch. So maybe it's that. But yeah, I'll give him a little time out and come back to him with renewed energy, I'm sure. Now the next whip is one I am absolutely not getting bored with. In fact, if anything, my excitement is growing with it, because it's the Chromatic Dragon, and it has taken me a little bit to really get into my stride with it, because there was so much dark colour, and I was getting into stitching some of the other more interesting coloured bits, but I feel like I've really kind of, I don't know, like I say, hit my stride with it now. So yeah, I feel like I've done quite good progress. This is where we're at. And I think as I'd got down to some of these, I've just started a little bit more down here, but mostly I've tried to work the black down here so that I could actually start on the next horn along here. So yeah, I feel like it's really motoring now. I mean, it probably isn't actually motoring that fast, because I only spend 3 days a week working on it. So obviously it's still progressing quite slowly, but I am at, let's see, 10,022 stitches. Yay, so I've hit just over 10,000 stitches now. So that's quite a nice milestone. And that is 4.79%. So yeah, coming up on 5% as well. And that's pretty exciting. So yeah, I'm really, really loving this one at the moment. Definitely feeling more pull to stitch on that. So yeah, that's fantastic. And the next whip is also one that I'm very much in love with and have been since I started it. So you know it's got to be Rossa, my mermaid from Bella Filipina. I still love it, love it, love it, love it. Absolutely just enjoy every single moment that I'm stitching on it. It just, as I say, this one just gets really stitched at the weekends, but I have managed to put some stitches in on it, so still making really, really good progress with it, still loving it. So let's see here where we're at. And so I had a torso last time and an arm. I can't remember if I finished these weedy bits, I'm not sure, but I definitely didn't have boobs. So she's got a chest and some more of the fabric coming down this side, and there's actually a little bit then I've started working the tail that's going to come up this way as well. So that's where it's at. I think I've done a little bit more of the metallic in there that I think maybe I hadn't done before, I'm not sure. I think I've been leaving that and I think I filled that in. But yeah, oh, she is so gorgeous, so gorgeous. Absolutely adore stitching this, as I think you've probably worked out by now. So she is one that is definitely not being put aside. Anything I'm dropping, definitely not this one. This one will still be being stitched on very much and coming up in all my videos. Okay, it's going to start getting a little bit Christmassy for the next few whips, because the first one is my historical sampler company Jingle Bells Stitch Along. And I think I'd done a bit last time. I was a bit behind. I'm crazy behind now. Yeah, doesn't matter. But I've put up there, we've had part 2 come out. No, actually part 3 has come out today. I haven't got it up into the picture yet. So sorry, I've just got part 2 still up there. But part 3 is out today. And yeah, I've made progress compared to last time. Let's see. Oh, that's falling off. There we go. So yeah, I've done more of the motifs. I think I had this one, and this one last time. So I've now worked my way across. I did that one and I've done the little angel. And then I'm working now, this is going to be a pair of ice skates. So obviously on the pattern, there's now the entire top couple rows. So you can see how far behind I am. But I don't really care. I'm just enjoying stitching it. And this is definitely one of the projects that I'm hoping to try and get a bit more done if I shelve a couple of other projects along the way and focus a little bit more on Christmas stitching. So hopefully there'll be a lot more progress to show you next time. Right, the next whip is still a whip, but also a finish, because it's the Shannon Christine Designs ornaments that I was stitching, and I finished one and I'm still working on another one. So here is, 'tis the season. So this one is finished, complete with all the lovely, well, lovely to look at, not so lovely to stitch with, Chromatic threads in there. So that is, yeah, that's really pretty. This was so nice to stitch. It really was. So yeah, it didn't take me too long. It's not a huge design, although there's quite a lot in it. But yeah, really lovely to stitch. maybe apart from the metallic. So that was this, which is Chromatic. It's a beautiful gold colour. It's never the most fun to stitch with though, is it? But I will say I did a video last year about tips to make stitching with metallic threads easier. So I'll link that one up for you if you want any tips on stitching with metallic threads, because honestly, I will take all the tips I can get. So if you know anything that I haven't included in my video, then let me know. My number one tip is thread conditioner. This stuff is, I've got, it's not going to show you, I don't think. This is thread heaven. This is thread heaven. It's discontinued now. You can get Thread Magic, which I believe is pretty similar. And if you do nothing else with metallic threads, then use this stuff, because it does make it so much easier to stitch with them. And the other tips, I did pop a couple on my Instagram, so you might have seen these already, but was to use shorter lengths. So I use a really long length when I'm stitching. Usually I use, actually some people use a lot longer. I use 1 metre folded in half, so I've got 50 centimetres of working thread. But for the metallics, I actually do measure it from I'll put my hand out and measure it from there to my elbow. So that's about, I think it's about 30 centimetres at the most. So that's all I'll use for metallic thread, and potentially switch to a bigger needle as well, because it's easier to thread, because the eye will be a bit bigger. But it's easier because it widens the holes as you go. So the thread goes through more easily then as well. Now, to be fair, with this one, so I did the shorter lengths, I did the thread conditioner. This is 18 count, and I was actually still using a size 26 needle. So you could use a size 28 for this. I probably would have done, but I was too lazy to go and find one. I had a 26 to hand, so I just used it, which meant that was still fine for doing the metallic thread. So anyway, we slightly digress on tips for metallics, but really it does help. We all need all the help we can get with metallic threads, right? Now, I did say there was a second one, so here's the other one, which, yeah, not a lot of progress on there yet. Just a very small start, but yeah, looking lovely. So the plan with those was to make them into coasters, like this one here. So I've got, this is a little sheep coaster that I made. And these coasters, they come in 2 parts, a front part and a back part. And in fact, I'm going to make a video when I make these up into coasters. I'll do a tutorial video just to show you how I do that. It's not super complicated, but there are a few little things you can do, things to think about beforehand, and ways that you can just make it look really top notch and make it a bit easier to put together. Now, of course, because I knew I wanted it in the coaster, I deliberately picked 18 count fabric because I thought, well, I calculated that was going to fit. And I had a panic about 3/4 of the way through stitching that it wasn't going to fit in the coaster. It just didn't look like, it just looked bigger than I thought it was going to be. So I measured it and it was looking like it was going to be really close. Now, the thing with the coasters is that, you're probably not going to be able to see on here, they tell you that they're 8 centimetres from across here, which they are. The aperture on the back is 8 centimetres. But when you look from the front, because there's a bevel, from here to here, really, the visible stitching area is about 7.5 centimetres. Now, I knew that, I'd already accounted for that, and on 18 count, these designs should have been 7 centimetres. So I knew I'd got a tiny bit of wiggle room. But I should have known better, because I made a video not that long ago about fabric count, and when fabric count is a bit dodgy, which is almost always. If you want to hear more about that, go and watch the video. I will link that in a card and in the description for you. But suffice to say, I did not really take my own advice and check my fabric beforehand. And this fabric, actually let me do the other pattern, because, so when I measured the count of the fabric this way and this way, I found that one direction it was 17.5 count, and in the other it was 18.5 count. So in neither direction is it exactly 18 count. Again, not normally a problem unless you want it square and you want it to fit in a coaster. Because that means that for this particular design, I measured these and it is 7.2 centimetres horizontally and it is 6.9 centimetres vertically. So that actually works out to about 2 squares, 2 crosses different in one direction than the other. So it means this isn't 100% square. It basically it's a tiny bit longer this way than it is this way. So what I've done, I don't think it would matter, incidentally. I think it would look fine. But what I did do was where there is at the top, there are the threads that come down for the baubles. I've actually measured and I've taken the tops of that up to where the top of the coaster will be. So it'll look like they're hanging down in the coaster. So when it's in there, it should sit. So the baubles look like they're coming down from the top of the coaster and the thread doesn't sort of stop before the edge of the coaster. You'll see. Anyway, I will put it in the tutorial video, but that was my one tweak. And of course, the other tweak with this one is that there's a few beads on the original design, which again, I've not put in because obviously those won't fit in a coaster. So disaster, hopefully averted, and hopefully I will have FFOs to show you next time and maybe even a tutorial video on making coasters. Okay, so now we have some new starts, and the first one is also from the Historical Sampler Company, and that's the one I showed off in the last video saying that it was ready to start, wondering when I'd dive in, and yeah, it didn't take me very long because it's just too cute. So I have started. Not loads, but here we go. I've made a start on super cute little snowman and tree. So yeah, I'm looking forward to stitching all the Christmas things at the moment. And there's so many beautiful little Christmas motifs on this. They're going to be wonderful to stitch. And in fact, the thread amount that's given in these kits is usually really quite good. So I reckon you'd have enough left to stitch some of the motifs just as little gift tags or Christmas cards. So I might do that if I have time, but I think if I have time might be the operative word there. We'll see. But yeah, it's such a beautiful design. I can't wait to finish it and to make it up into a beautiful little hanging. And my other new start is super, super exciting because I finally got designing. Again, you'll have seen a sneak peek if you're on Instagram, and I'm going to show you where I'm at. This is my little penguin that I'm designing for this year, and here he is. So he is mostly stitched. I just need to, I've got to finish as a present here, and then I've got to do some snowy ground for him, but and then obviously backstitch for him as well. So yeah, I'm so excited that I've actually managed to design something, and I think he's adorable. I hope some of you will think he's adorable too and will want to stitch him. And I wasn't sure I was going to, but I think there's going to be a second design as well. So watch this space. I've been designing it. It's driving me crazy. It's in that stage where I can't get it to look right, and it's really frustrating me, but I think I might just be over that hump now and have got it where I want it. So yeah, there might be another penguin couple. So nice little couples design for Christmas on the way as well. So yeah, very excited with that. And I'm stitching these, so I always design with DMC threads, and this one I'm stitching, I don't really know how well it will show up. I'm stitching it on 16 count ice blue Swigart Ada. I thought the ice blue would just make him really pop, and it is looking really nice, but I don't know how blue it's looking in the video. It's a bit difficult with these things sometimes, isn't it? So that is all the whips, and I've already done my one finish kind of in there with the whips, and there's nothing else waiting to start, and there's no stash, which is odd. So I guess it's on 2 plans. And as I've already mentioned, it's gone a bit sideways with plans this last couple of weeks. I've stitched kind of what I want when I want. I've mostly kept the dragon and the mermaid have been consistent with when I've been stitching those, and I've kept that, and I'm still going to keep that because I adore those two projects and just want to keep stitching on those. So those are going to stay in there. I already had some projects I wasn't really stitching on, and the Chameleon, as I've mentioned, is going to join on the timeout step, which is fine. It's just, that sounds like a bad thing, putting them on timeout. But it really isn't. It's just to make space for Christmas stitching. Like I said, there's so much. I want to do Christmas stitching. I'd like to keep up with the 2 stitch alongs that I'm doing. I'd like to give a bit more time and be slightly less behind with those. And obviously I want to finish up my own designs. So yeah, there's lots to keep me busy. So I'm just going to try and focus on those fewer number of projects. I mean, it's got so crazy, I didn't even do a tutorial video that I had planned for last week. But I will try and do one next week, like I say, for the coaster. And I've got loads of other ideas I want to share with you. I'm not short on ideas. I'm just always short on time, really. I'm blaming the penguins this week, which that's fine. That's not a bad problem to have. Penguins is good. So yeah, next couple of weeks, lots and lots of Christmas stitching, and still dragon and mermaid. That's the plans. It's quite vague for the next 2 weeks. But yeah, I think that'll be fine. So just any little life updates, goings on with me as well. There's not been a huge amount, to be perfectly honest. It's been fairly quiet. I've had lots of lovely stitchy time. We've been catching up with friends and family, including a lovely stitchy session with my mum the weekend just gone. We had time to sit down and stitch and chat, so that was really nice. Obviously got the new sofa bed and the new location, so we've got some work to do in terms of the backdrop. We've got, I say, lots of pictures to put up. What else? I have eaten my first mince pie. Okay, 3 mince pies, not all at once, separate days, but yeah, I got in early on the mince pies this year, I think, but I love a mince pie. Oh, and very exciting, I haven't got this all nailed down yet, but you heard it here first, there will be a Black Friday sale. I can't say any more than that because I haven't decided what I'm doing, but there will be. So there's your early heads up to watch out for that coming fairly soon. That's coming around really quickly. But yeah, that'll be on the way. So all that's left for me to say now really is thank you so much for sitting and listening to me waffle about cross stitch and sharing all my projects with you. I hope you found something to enjoy, and thank you as always to everyone who's subscribed to the channel. It really does mean the world to me when I see those subscriber numbers going up and knowing that you're enjoying the videos. It's such a joy. So thank you very much for that. And until next time, happy stitching. Bye for now.